All right, it's about a minute to 4 o'clock. Thank you so much for everyone who's attending. I know it's the last day of term. Oh no, it's not. It's the last webinar of the term, and you guys are off tomorrow, if memory serves me right. So, folks, what we'll do is we'll just quickly run through um, the app called Lensoo, and I want to talk to you guys about using it for both creative and literacy at the same time. I have heard of teachers using video as a method of helping students learn how to read and improve their rate of reading by videoing themselves and having them play back the video while reading the text. It's quite useful. I think Kay at Beresford Road has had quite a bit of success on that, which is quite good. So what I'll do is I'll quickly open up and get started. So folks, thanks again for coming. If you've got any questions, a bit of housekeeping, there's the upper right hand side of your toolbox, sorry, upper left-hand side of your toolbox should be an orange arrow which opens and closes the toolbox. And there is a question tab there that you can just type a question. Otherwise, there's a raise hand or lower hand button that you can put. And if you raise your hand, I'm going to open up your microphone so you can have a bit of a chat and you can take the floor. All right. Scott, just wanted to see, do you have any microphones, mate? No? No, let me unmute you. Mr. Panton, how you going? Scott. Okay, maybe he doesn't have a microphone. That's okay. All right, well, let's get going. Now, Lensoo is a pre-loaded app that is inside your XO already. So when you reflash your XO, press your app drawer. That's that little circly buttony thing there. And Lensoo, as you notice, it's all alphabetically arranged. Lensoo can be found right there. It's this app that has the infinity symbol on it. Okay, so launching that app, you can see something that I've done before. And I'm actually going to quickly disengage that one, close it. Okay. Hang on. I'm just going to quickly go back to start. It's just because I've logged in on this. I'm just going to quickly log out. Okay. So the very first time you log in, what you'll see is basically this screen here. Okay, and what happens with this is you have the option number one to um, keep it offline, which means you can save your work locally. Uh, uh, you can just have your file stored in the XR. You don't need to export it, and everything's all functional without the need of the internet. So it hits many aspects there. So if your bandwidth is a bit low or you're having trouble connecting to the internet, this is perfect. Okay. So first things first, what you do is click on your recording. When you do that, this is what you get. So if you notice, it actually has a record timer there. It's got a play button here. You've got a film button there, and you've got a highlighter button here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually create something. Now, just a quick question. Any of you teachers got your XOs handy? So if you've got your XOs handy, just raise your hand or type something on the screen. Fantastic. Michael, do you see where your Lensoo is? Can you access it on the XR? So If you can access it and you can have a bit of a play, if you notice, you can actually press this button here. I'm going to highlight it real quick. That button actually allows you to record. Now you're going to see my face in a second. Hello. Oops, sorry, wrong one. So what the students can actually do is they can then tell a story while they're videoing themselves. And hang on, there's an ugly double chin when I do that. So there you go. That's better. So you can actually tell a story. You can draw while they're doing that. So while that's happening, I'm going to record myself. It's a fairly sensitive microphone. So as you can see, recordings can be up to 30 minutes long. When you press that record button here, to get started, just press that button and it's going to record. Okay. I'm going to change the background. Sorry guys, there's a protest outside. Our offices are located really, really close to the State Union building. So they're protesting about something tonight. I'm not really sure what. So I'm just gonna go quickly use Quick Pick, and I'm gonna use this one. So when that happens, it basically just gives me a background like a chalkboard. Excuse me. I'm just gonna quickly mute, guys. Hang on a second. Okay. Right. Okay. So as you've seen, I've overlaid an image there, and I'm actually gonna do a bit of a drawing. I'm gonna use my highlighter, and I'm gonna use the color yellow. So with my finger, I've just chosen that color there. And then I'm going to press the board one more time, get rid of that menu. I'm going to draw sun. There you go. Now, you can also use, oh, sorry. Michael, thanks for asking that question. What I did is, I'm just going to quickly erase all of these. Okay. So I'm going to use my pen. So this button here, the one that looks like a little landscapey thing, if you press that, you can choose to take a photograph, or you can choose to have a pre-existing picture. This pre-existing picture that I chose when I press that one there. Okay. I actually chose Quick Pick, or you can choose Gallery, or if you've got files on Google Drive or files on ES File Explorer, you can use that as well. So in this case, I chose Quick Pick. The folder that I chose, oops, sorry. So Quick Pick, the folder that I chose was called Poster. Yeah. And when I selected that, it just gave me that blackboard drawing. There you go. If you try resources right there, you have the choice. Hang on, let me get rid of that. Oh, you don't have that on your XRs. Okay. When you're choosing, hang on, let me walk you through it. Okay. So with the XR, try pressing the. Okay. Try pressing the button for pictures again. Okay. When you press that, if you don't have the quick pick option, you should have the gallery option. So I'm going to go gallery. Oh, gallery's empty, is it? Oh, okay. That's bizarre. Well, what I'll do, and I'll make a note out of it, is I'll be able to send you that the JPEG of the blackboard, and I'll send you the JPEG of the. Actually, I'll put it up on the forums, and you guys can download it. So I'll put the blackboard and the padded paper JPEGs on forums. That way you can download it. And once it's on gallery, I'll show you again. If you press that picture button, select a pre-existing picture. So your choices to use are either gallery or quick pick or ES File Explorer, either which it works. You can select it. So I normally just use gallery anyways. Okay. So in the spirit of repeatability, what I'll do is I'll just keep it blank. That way you guys can see the blank screen. And I'm just using my mouse so everybody can track where I'm going. I'm just going to press this button here, which is the back button. Okay, and that back button will just give me a clear screen again. Okay, now, oopsie, nope, I don't want to cancel that just yet. Okay, one of the disadvantages of being an adult and playing with EXO, fat fingers. The little kids, they have perfect size fingers for this. But anyway, now what we'll do is let's just start from scratch, and I'm going to press the eraser button there. I hope you guys can track the mouse. Yep. And I'm going to go clear all drawings. It warns the child this can't be undone. I'm going to clear it anyway. Oops. And I'm also going to clear all pictures. So again, clicking on the eraser and then selecting clear all images. So when you go clear all images, oopsie, any image you've done gets erased again. So you're left with a blank screen. There you go. Cool. So quick example. Oops, sorry. Goodness. I just made a mistake. I'm just going to press this button here. Undo. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the mouse so you can track it. So here's my mouse. I'm going to add an image by clicking that. And I'm going to add some animals. Let's say, oh, there's a camel there. And I'm going to have tiny camels. Oopsie. And besides the camel, I'm going to add, let's get a chook in there somewhere. Oops. I don't know if you can see that, folks, but if you select the image, so say for example, here's the chook. If you'd like to select that, just hover your mouse, tap, and you can edit. You can have the chook filled in with a different color. I want a green chook, but I want the lines to be red. There you go. Green chook, red line outline. Now I want to add a human being. So by pressing that shapes button there, you can then set, oh, like you can see me, right? I'm going to take my own face off because it's actually really distracting me. There you go, turning that video off. Okay. So let's say, for example, one of the excursions that children went is they went to Sydney's Fairfield City Farm. I'm not sure if that's still open, but let's pretend it's still open. So let's say you took the children to Fairfield City Farm and you'd like for them to describe and draw what they saw. So let's do that. The child can then select to draw lots of green stuff. Okay. And then they also saw some dogs. Oh, that's not a dog, that's a bull. And they also saw some rabbits. And they took a photo of themselves enjoying the day. They can put a selfie on it. Now, if you're happy with that image, there's this tick box there. If you don't want it, press the X button to delete. If you're keen to do it again, press the redo button. So in this case, I'm very happy with that image. I'm going to press the tick box, yes. There I am. And once you highlight it, you can use your trackpad or your finger to move it around. Done. Cool. All right. So any questions about that so far? Right? Okay. Now, here comes the fun bit. Because while it's not yet saved, you can press this button here, which plays it. So it collates everything that you've done, right? And let me erase those little bits. Sorry, the resolution's a bit choppy, but it actually shows the progression of how you're drawing. So if you can imagine the students there explaining as they go, and they're drawing and they're um, putting their thoughts basically on the blackboard, so to say. There you go. So any questions, teachers? Hmm. Now, just wanted to let you know, teachers, the microphone is quite sensitive on this, so you could possibly hear my boss talking in the background, and you could possibly hear the traffic and the police cars coming in the background as well. So just to let you know, guys, it does get quite sensitive. So anyway, getting back to it, once everything's all said and done, the students are happy with what they've drawn. They're happy with their explanation, and they want to save it. Press the floppy disk button, and I'm just going to entitle it Webinar Trial. Oopsie. One. Save. Another option is you can publish it. Okay. Now, just to let you know, like I said, I have an account with Lensoo. Teachers, this is normally $4 or something like that every 3 months or something. I'll actually show you on our on the web. So if you're keen to have a look, okay. Okay. Right, so I'm going to log out. Oh wait, it's here, upgrade. So I'm going to click on the upgrade button. So it's $14, 15 bucks a year, or $1.99 per month. And you've got the premium subscription, which means you can have real-time video recording, more shapes, additional tools, downloads. You can have up to 30 minutes in length, which is what you've got already anyway. So in other words, what Rangan has done, he's organized for the creators of Lensoo to provide us with the license basically for free. And if you don't want to use your exos to go online, that's fine. But if you are online and you'd like to save it, you'd like to upload it to YouTube, you'd like to show it off, I'm going to show you how to do that now. Again, using your trackpad or your fingers, press the save button. Oopsie. Let's do that again. Press the done button once you've already saved it, and then you can go and publish your work. There you go. By pressing publish, okay, it's actually going to upload it to Lensoo, right? And it might even ask you to log into your, there you go, it's going to ask you to log in. Right? So in this case, I already have my own password. I just use my Google Plus. Look, no offense, but no one really uses Google Plus anymore, so I just use that. So I'm just quickly going to type in my password and my logins. No. Don't want you to remember my password. So logging in. I'm going to close that. So I'm going to upload it to, oh, it didn't take. Let me quickly log in again for a second. Okay. So it's going to go contacting server. So once you've logged in, it's going to say, okay, well, who do you want this to, who do you want to see this? And I go, well, I'm pretty happy with it, but I'm quite embarrassed of having my double chin plastered all over the internet. I'm going to go unlisted. Enter a short description. I'm just going to go webinar, trial. Category, it's going to be arts and music. And just publish. There you go. It's publishing. Cool. So any questions, teachers? G'day, Andrew. How you going?
Good, yourself?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. Did you find anything? Did you find a possible way to use this program for your students?
Yeah, we're using the program for children when they're doing some of their reflecting in the lessons. So if they're able to use some of their maths and
Mm-mm.
We've used them in math sessions before and some of the writing because these
Mm.
exos are in the low, and it's a great way for them just to be able to come out and
Mm-mm.
show some of their work. So
Brilliant.
a good tool.
Awesome. Well, I'm really, really glad to hear that. I actually met up with a couple of Blair Mount students yesterday. They went to,
That's
yeah, yeah, they went to the
Bruce.
kids' meet. Mm-mm. Were you there?
No, no, no. We took some children from our technology group over.
Because I think it was, oh goodness, I can't remember, Lauren and Greg who came, I think.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it was really encouraging. There were 70 students altogether, and they all talked about collaborating. And yeah, it was a real encouraging experience. So I hope all the children were still in a bit of a high when they came to school today.
Oh, they are. Yes. Yeah. And all the kids that are using them really enjoy them. So we're just finding different uses for them in the classroom. But I know that a number of classes are using Lensoo.
Fantastic. All right, mate, I'll put you on mute again. But yep, I really appreciate that feedback.
Thank you.
Cheers. Scott, I think you said, or we discussed that you didn't have any microphone. I'll give you another go. G'day, Scott. No good? No microphone? That's okay. Right. Now, folks, the next stop that I'm going to talk to you about is potentially using Lensoo to help your students do a bit of reading and I guess getting them an opportunity to record themselves while they're reading and watch it and learn from how they go. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so I'm going to quickly press back. Come on. Okay. Yeah, my daughter got a hold of this. My daughter got a hold of my laptop and just started playing around with it. So that's her right there. And she gave herself a moustache. Fantastic. Do you want to quit? No, I don't. I got more stuff to do. So I'm going to add a new recording here. So, folks, another thing as well, once you've logged into Lensoo on your XO and you're connected online, you can then download all of the videos that have science as a geotag, as a subject tag, or you can download business, arts and music. So there's a whole bunch of people using Lensoo at the moment that have uploaded and have kindly agreed for people to see. So yeah, feel free to just have a go and download what you need and just show the students. I'm just going to scroll up real quick. There you go, polarization, the Compton effect. So there you go. And that's, I have no idea what language that is. I'm just going to scroll back up now. Okay, there you go. So let's have a go and make a new recording. So like I said, I want to record the students reading. Okay, so the video camera can be good. It can be used, but it is optional. You don't have to use it. Um, but if you can imagine the students there reading, it's being recorded while they're reading, and when they're done, they can just press the play button. It's going to start from scratch, and they can follow through. That way, they know what word they've read that seems incorrect. So it's fairly powerful that way. Okay, I'm just going to turn myself off. It's always disconcerting seeing yourself being videoed. Anyway, all right, so that's basically Lensoo in a nutshell. Um, in terms of management, I'm just going to quickly press done, close. Okay. Now, in terms of management, these are my recordings. These are already published onto Lensoo, but this one here, Joe Boy Trial. Joe Boy is my family nickname, so it's automatic for me to type stuff that up. In this case, this has not been uploaded at all. Okay, but I want to keep it on my XR. And if I'm a student, I want to show, say for example, Mr. Franklin's my headmaster, and Mr. Franklin says, look, I want you to do a story on emotions, and I want you to record yourself and explain why this face is explaining that emotion. Okay, so the student can then do exactly that, record themselves, and using the VNC app, you can project it to the interactive whiteboard, and everybody can see it straight from the child's XR. So pretty exciting stuff. Okay. Now, if you don't know what VNC app is, it's basically the same device that I'm using that allows me to show what you guys are seeing, right? So VNC is this one. Eraser drawings, pen. So this is what I download for my XR, and this is what I download for my Chrome. Oops, I'm just going to quickly erase that. And this is what I download from my Chrome. VNC Viewer for Google. Okay? So basically, with those two working together, you can make, as long as, this is a big caveat, as long as the computer that's receiving the signal is on the same Wi-Fi as your XO, there are no issues communicating and being and showing this XO onto your device. Yeah. So yeah, that's another aspect that you can do. So we've now tackled a bit of creativity, a bit of literacy with Lensoo Create. I've shown you how to save it and keep it local, and you also have the opportunity to save it and upload it to the web server, so they can then have access to it. Now, I'm not sure how you teachers feel about it, but personally, um, there's another aspect here called app management that we're going to tackle. Let me just open that up. So one of the aspects we're going to do today is besides your I, okay, it's not letting me draw. Sorry, folks. I'm just going to quickly do that. There you go. It's letting me draw now. So we've done Lensoo Create. In terms of app management, what I'd like to talk about is now that majority of you are, number one, on Android, number two, have had your XOs for a few months now. The assumption is you've already had a bit of a play, and the students have had ample opportunity for a bit of mischief. And we all know what we're talking about there. Now, with that, App Store has been fully opened up for anyone, and unless the students know how to use their .edu as a Gmail account, which I highly doubt, um, they're basically using their parents or their older siblings' Google account to download apps. What we found really useful is schools themselves have developed policies to it's basically, some of them have developed something called a policy of trust, where teachers and students have got an agreement at the start of the term or at the start of the year saying that I'm going to be responsible for the technology. I'm not going to download apps that are not approved by teacher. I'm not going to visit websites that are inappropriate for myself and for my classmates. And they basically have that arrangement. And one of them, I think, is I'm only allowed, if I'm going to bring a game, I'm only allowed to bring G plus games. PG and above, I'm not allowed. Which is, I think, look, it's I'm a full believer of 21st century learning, but having something like this just allows the students to have that boundary, but still allow themselves to explore what other apps are there. Okay, and now the consequence of that is, if the parents do not sign that piece of paper, the student is not allowed to touch a computer. So that forces the parent to actually read the document and agree to it, and at the same time it gives them accountability to what their child is doing. And the next step they do is the consequences of students disobeying that. So I know we had an issue in Western Sydney where some schools have been downloading 50 Shades of Grey or Call of Duty or something silly like that. Now, I'm very, very sure these students are not using their department email to do that. They've used their, some other person's Gmail account. Number one, they're not allowed to have a Gmail account or a Google Play account until they're at least 12 or 13. Yeah. So what they're doing right now is illegal already, and it invalidates the terms of agreement. And if they get caught doing that, the punishment that some schools have had is they actually take the XO away from the child, they reflash the XO, and they have the child banned from technology until they have an opportunity to discuss with them one-on-one how they can be trusted again. Some pretty severe management there, but it just tells the student this is a no tolerance thing. So I'm pretty sure Roos has had that situation already. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually asking Mr. McKillicuddy to talk about that next term on term three. For the term three webinars, we're actually going to have more user-generated accounts. So I'm going to talk about that later. So back onto app management. Before I proceed, any questions or any comments at all, teachers? Andrew, did you want to have something to say, or did you reckon that was severe enough? Or hang on, let me unmute you. Did you reckon that? I guess.
I'd say that was. Well, we're managing the uploading of apps onto the XOs at the moment, so that we've got that as a group. We're making that decision of what's appropriate. So we're just taking that that approach. But yeah, that kind of management system would be fairly appropriate.
Okay. So you reckon having them banned from technology until they can prove their trustworthiness again, that's okay management for children of that age?
Yeah, yeah. What we're hoping is that we don't get ourselves into that position where where that's necessary. So we're putting a fire management into that, in terms of what you're able to access on the XO anyway. So the kind of apps that we want, we're making that decision as a whole school-based approach.
Okay, that's actually quite proactive of you guys. So I mean, look, it's certainly something to be concerned about, because the last thing we want to do is have an illicit app offend someone, or actually be a cause of great concern, specifically for young kids and their parent and the parents as well. Yeah. So we just wanted to make sure that we're fulfilling our duty.
Yeah,
of care. That's all. Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
Yeah, we vet each app before it goes onto the XO. So we have the apps for a specific purpose.
Yes.
So we're assessing its educational value before it goes on the XO anyway.
Perfect, perfect. Now, speaking of which, in terms of app management, I'm going to meet you again, and this is going to be a bit of a long-winded one, so I apologize already. So thanks, Andrew.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so teachers, the next step I want to talk about is app management. And what I mean by that is, say for example, I know Blair Mount have got a couple of hundred XOs, and Hallett Cove has got quite a few XOs. As I think all of the teachers participating have got XOs over 200 devices. And that's a significant amount. Imagine you need to reflash those devices by yourself. It'll probably drive you nuts and give you RSI. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. So what we actually instituted is having academy and mechanics participants, and what they basically are stage 2 to stage 3 students being trained to repair and reformat the devices and connect them to the internet. And that's the bare bones basics of it. And it empowers the students and frees up the teachers. Of course, there's going to be a bit of a lag time to get that up and running, but I'm very happy to say in in southern Western Sydney, let's just wait for that cop car to go. Yeah, in Southwestern Sydney, they're already getting that started with Kids Meet, and basically a whole bunch of technology kids come together. They get further training on how to replace a keyboard. They collaborate on how well they've done as a group. They talk about how they can improve serving their cohorts as XO mechanics. And we also have a new app coming in end of term 3, I think, or middle of term 3, called the Academy app and the Mechanics app. And this gives the students a leaderboard showing their ranking versus the rest of the students across the state and across the country and soon across the world, which is kind of fun. So app management, how do we do it? I'll show you an app called APK Extractor. And APK Extractor will be found on the App Universe. Isn't that right, Matthew? APK, APK Extractor will be found on the App Universe and will be downloadable. We already have approval from the developer to distribute it using our portal. So you guys will have access to it, and it's going to be free. I love that word, free. So how to get it? In the next couple of days, press App Universe when you're connected online. Once you press App Universe, you will look for APK Extractor, download APK Extractor, and what will APK Extractor do? Scenario. You've downloaded 16 apps by yourself that you've researched that you think these students will have a fantastic time having a bit of a play. It tackles all of the curriculum requirements that you name, and it hits all the right notes in terms of it being free and accessible. The problem is one student decides, I'm going to put a password on my XO, and successfully does it. Unfortunately, they also forget what the password is. The only solution in that matter is reformat the machine. So what's going to happen with those apps that you've just downloaded? Do you need to download them over and over again? With App Extractor, the APK Extractor basically generates a list of all of the apps you've downloaded, right? So in this example, I've just opened up that program, and let's say, for example, I want to have Cashier extracted and backed up. I'm going to quickly just press Cashier. It's extracting that app, and it says, yep, it's extracted. There's the path. Go to your home button. If you can see my mousey thing, it's just right there. Go to your home button and go to your ES File Explorer. When you're there, open up ES File Explorer, and the extractor will have its own folder that says extracted apps. There you go. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did buy Minecraft. So when you go to extracted apps, I'm just going to use my mouse instead of just pressing it. You can see all of the extracted APKs there. And to load those extracted apps, all you need to do, hang on, I'm just going to quickly turn on the webcam. Okay. Maybe not. Okay, it's turned on. Cool. So just get yourself a USB stick. Just type, maybe click hands up if you can see the webcam. Can you see the webcam, folks? No one's seeing the webcam. Okay, I'm just going to do something else then. Here you go. I'll use this. So folks, what we're going to do is get a USB stick. So just this, right? They're normally about a couple of bucks. One of the great things is I bought this 32 gig a couple of years ago, and it cost me 40 odd dollars. You cannot get one for less than 20. For the students, all they really need is, I don't know, 4 gigs is more than enough. 8 gigs you can get from JB Hi-Fi for $15 for a pack of 5. So have a go and have a look. It's quite inexpensive and it's very, very affordable. Anyway, my suggestion is for those students to have their own USB stick. Okay. And what do you do as a teacher? As a teacher, with your USB stick, plug it into your XR. Okay. And I'm just going to use my little drawing pen here. Once your USB storage has been recognized by your XR, if you plugged it in, you can then press and hold the apps you'd like to transfer. So once the tick boxes have arrived, then you know you've done your job well. Select the files you'd like to transfer. Copy. I'm going to go to my USB storage. And press paste. Okay. And it's just going to overwrite, it's just going to save it there. There you go, folks. Right? Sorry, let's just wait until that thing goes. Welcome to Sydney. Right. So, theoretically speaking, I'm just going to quickly go back home. Okay. Theoretically speaking, you've now filled or extracted and loaded all of the apps you'd like on your USB device. What you'd need to do now I believe every classroom has their own interactive whiteboard or some sort of a personal computer that looks after your multimedia. What you do is just on documents, create another folder or something like that. Let me make sure, let me create a document there. So I'm just here at My Docs. I created a new My Documents folder. I'll just call it App Management. I'm going to get my USB device, take it away from my XR, plug it in, and transfer the files over. So what's going to happen now is that everything that you've saved on that USB device, you'll transfer over. So I've got my APKs. And I'm just going to transfer them over, nice and simple. So the benefit that you have there, teachers, is you now have in your PC, in your classroom, a folder that has all of the apps you'd like to transfer over. Yeah. And extending that idea, if you have, I mean, because you guys are attending the webinars, we're sending you 10 USB sticks if you haven't received them yet, 10 USB sticks with the most up-to-date version of our Android operating system, and you guys get that. And extending this idea, you can then get those folders, get those files, put them on the same folder here. That way, in your PC, you've got one folder specifically dedicated to the operating system for the XR and the extracted apps for the XR. So when when a new student comes, or when the student goes, oh, sorry, sir, sorry, miss, I've just destroyed my XO, it needs to be reformatted, they get their own USB stick. You download the files you want them to have on that stick. They go and they reformat their own device and load their own apps. And how do you load those apps? Nice and simple. You just plug it back into your XO, open up your USB stick, find the program you want, and tap it. All right? So in this case, I'm going to delete my Duolingo just to prove a point. Uninstall. Yes, I'm going to uninstall Duolingo. Okay. So I'm just quickly uninstalling Duolingo. There you go. So in this case, I'm one of the students. I need to have Duolingo installed because we're doing a course in Spanish. So I'm going to go to my teacher with my USB device. I'm going to go, Miss or Sir, could you please load Duolingo on my USB? And you copy that file over with your PC. They come back to their seat, plug in their stick on the XR. Where's Duolingo? There it is. And just tap on it. And it will self-extract, and off you go. It's not working on iOS yet. I'm trying to do not iOS. No, iOS. And it's going to ask you, do you want to install this? Oh, yes, of course. Oh, I know why. It's because it's only allowed to certain IPs. Yep. Install. I have to add the .154 to be allowed. And off you go. There you go. So teachers, that's the most efficient way to actually handle these things. If the app you have for your students is paid, right? As long as as long as the app has been paid for and licensed, you can load it to the devices that you own. Okay? So I've had a teacher, I think she's from South Australia, I can't remember her name exactly. Oh, no, sorry, Queensland. She's from Queensland. And she said she paid for an app and loaded it, and she goes, after the 25th time I've loaded it, that's when Google was telling me, hang on, I think you've loaded it one too many times. So just to give you a bit of a gauge. But more often than not, if it's free, using it for educational purposes, and you're not redistributing it for profit, this method is not breaking the law. Okay. All right, teachers, that's basically it for app management. Any feedback that you'd like to give me? So we've just quickly done Lensoo. Oopsie. We've done Lensoo. We've done a bit of app management. Term 3 webinars and feedback. Folks, just really quickly, with Term 3 webinars, I actually want it to be more of an open forum. I'm going to pose a question to the teachers there, and it'll be great if, look, the idea is for people to have their ideas heard, and we want you to comment. We want you to give us your opinions. Look, the important thing for me is that people can understand this is how teachers use their XOs in South Australia or in Queensland or in New South Wales, and it's perfectly applicable to you guys as well if you can find the value in it. So it's an exchange of ideas. Let's collaborate in term three. And if I can ask, I'm going to ask a few teachers to actually share a few success stories, share a few issues they found, and any solutions they found useful. And yeah, let's just have a good open forum. And that's basically it, teachers. I'd love to hear your feedback. There's going to be a follow-up email sent. If you don't mind, please filling that in or just sending me a reply. What can I do better? How can I be? What time would be best suited for everyone? Uh, there's a form there as well that you can fill in. So yeah, that's basically it. All right. So Michael, any parting remarks? Mr. Franklin? Scott? Andrew, I'm picking on you again, mate, because it seems like you're the only one with a microphone, so you can actually talk back. Any comments from you, Mr. Elvis?
No, no, I think the app management part was the point you're making about the time that's involved. So what we try and do what we're trying to do with those is put up a block of apps in one go, and we basically tackle that on a class basis. So the XOs are being tailored to each particular class's
For the stage,
requirement.
basically, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're using them on a stage basis, and so at the moment they're in the lower grades. So the apps we're looking for are the ones that that are applicable to those. But we know that we've got kindergarten through to year 2, so the requirement is different again. So these XOs are being quite tailored at the moment.
Good, good, good. So it's good to know that that you guys have got a policy in place for that. So with that app management suggestion that I made, do you think would that be? Could you find value in that?
Yeah, well, that's how we're doing things at the moment.
Oh, okay. So you're already doing that anyway. So there you go.
Yeah, so we've got the app extractor in there. So that's standard on the XOs.
Fantastic, fantastic. Alrighty. All right, mate. And any last any parting remarks before we conclude the term two's last webinar for 4 p.m.
No, these have been really great. They're very helpful because it just walks us through, because a lot of this is going back to individual teachers, so we need to be able to talk about this. It gives us a common way to talk about the XOs and how we should be dealing with them.
Exactly. And look, what I really want is to have a community, because we've developed these things we call One Education communities. And Michael, I'm about to get onto Penrith and St Mary's area. So that's going to be exciting, and I can't wait for Lethbridge Park to play a key role in that one as well. But basically, we are going to grab the concepts that were successful in southwestern Sydney, in Blairmount, Roost, that area, and transfer that all across the country, which is really cool. All right, mate. Teachers, thank you so much for your participation. Have a fantastic evening. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the break.
Thank you, John.
All the best, my friend. Bye-bye now.
Bye now.
Awesome. Okay, now, again, teachers, we are going to record, or we have recorded this, and we are going to put them on YouTube